This is our map. So the mine opened up in 1895, and it was originally a surface mine, not submarine, not underground, until 1902 when they opened up number 2 mine because they ran out of surface ore. So they thought. So they had to come underground. Now number 2 is the one we're going into today. There's 6 in total. 1 and 5 are surface mines. 2, 3, 4, and 6 are submarine. And number 2 goes down 2.5 miles underneath Kentucky Bay. So for those of you who don't know, that's quite some distance. I'll show you on this little map over here, and then I'll come back to this one. This is 2.5 miles. This is the Atlantic Ocean, and we're only going up to right here. So yeah, it's really, really deep. And it's 17 feet tall naturally. It formed that way naturally in between 2 layers of shale and sandstone. So you'll see that when we go down there. I'm going to take a little break. That's approximately the 3rd purest deposit on the planet right now. You can see what they're mining, it's black, whereas it's red. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to hand it around. Just know it's 8 times heavier than any rocket's normal size. So you're going to want to use 2 hands, and if you don't need to, just make sure you don't drop it on your toes, because guess who has to go? People. You do. So.
Here, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said. So yeah.
Very heavy.
Number 4 was open for tours. They were like plays though. Nothing factual. You couldn't go in deep like you actually can with ours. Not worth the money, honestly, but this is the only one you can actually get into like we will today.
Be a great wine cellar, huh?
So this is the entrance to number 2. Now the only differences between now and then is that we modernized it for our safety to go down there. So like I said, we added in the lights and the stairs and the crushed stone and all that. Number 2 was never modernized any other way. Everything was taken out by hand and by horse, and it pitch black, like I said. So, yeah, let's go on in. Watch your step there, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's over.
I usually start off early with this morning. If you want to ask questions or take pictures, you can only ask as many and take as many as you want. So my best advice to you so you don't keep falling behind, because if you're 10 to 20 feet behind the group at all times taking pictures, I'm going to yell at you. Just take it as soon as you stop. I don't care. So for this little bit, if you want to stop and take a picture quickly, go ahead. I'm not going to yell at you because I'm going to just keep walking. So on the right side, these are the angles. Every 10 to 12 feet in the wall that has in the middle.
It's getting colder, huh?
Yep.
Steel foil right here. And then, I actually don't have a battery pack in the wall, but at the end of the tour I'm going to hand one around, so that's the only exception to the hands-off rule. If not, just scooch over, I'll make some room for you guys. So, can anybody give a guess at why they would have numbers on the pillars?
Is it a marker?
It's a marker of some sort. It's location, basically, so they never got lost down here. I mean, maybe for like a few hours, but no one ever got stranded down here, and that's because they had markers or numbers on pillars. Now I call it pillar because there was a certain method of mining down here. It's called room and pillar. So they took out 60% of the ore, and that's what they mined out. Approximately 82 million tons of ore, actually. And of course they left 40% here. That is the pillars. So that's what actually supports the ground above us. So we don't tamper with these pillars. Aside from that, there's still approximately 2.5 billion tons left in here. So there's still a bunch. BP actually came down here and told us that we have enough ore to make steel for the entire world for the next 150 years. Yeah, so that's pretty intense. So yeah, just let you guys know that. This is the 17 feet of consecutive ore that we see that goes down on the slope. You can tell because, like I said, it has that nice red copper color to it, and then the shale and sandstone above and below us has this black and blue tint to it. The ore is very smooth and actually has no warning sign whatsoever when it falls. One way of telling this, the only way basically of telling when the fall of ground would happen, is rats. They had hundreds of millions of rats down here. Now, in case you're a little bit creeped out, there's none here today. That's why we don't let anyone eat or drink down here. But back then, they had tons, and they were really convenient in the sense that they were like a detection system. So, you know, wee you, stuff's gonna fall, watch out. So, once the rats go, you better chase them. That was the old telltale. So, you can see how smooth it is, but there's a really rigid layer in the middle. Can you all pick this out here? That's called waste rock. Now, like I said, Belle Island was famous for distributing ore all around the globe, but that's ore, not rock. So what are we going to do when there's a random layer separating the rock on either side right down the middle? We have to get rid of it. So that's why it's called waste rock, because it's basically garbage. So what we did to get rid of this is have 10 to 12-year-old boys. They were called nippers, and we had them on the picking belts. Basically, they did petty little jobs for the miners before they could actually start mining around 14 years old. So they would, you know, heat up the men's tea for their lunches and work down in the stables with the horses, but they would work on the picking belts, and that's actually a very small section of what used to be the world's longest conveyor belts, which was on Belle Island in the early 1900s. So they would hand pick every single piece of that rock out. And when you guys came here to the museum today, did you all notice on the left-hand side, coming towards the museum, there's a really big hill there, made out of a bunch of rock? There's several of those on the island, and that huge hill, every single piece of it was hand-picked waste rock by 10 to 12-year-old boys.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And they worked the 10-hour shifts that the men did as well, and the horses. So everything was a 10-hour shift. There was a morning and an evening, separated by a 2-hour break, and that was used for transportation. So putting on the man carts, not the ore carts, getting the men in there and getting them in and out of the mine before and after their shifts. So yeah, that's all about the ore. Do you guys have any questions so far? Segment. And I can't stress that enough. Really, it's slick. And mixing that with ore carts that are going up and down all day, a lot of the deaths were run over, decapitation, bleeding out because of loss of limbs, stuff like that. They were really good though. If you lost a limb down here, dynamite wire tourniquets. 10 out of 10, I know because my pop lost his leg down here. So, yeah, they were really good. But it was very, very dangerous. And the fall of ground, the fact that it was from dynamite and black with horses and rats and everything else, super, super spooky down here. But there was only 106 deaths, and that was over a span of 71 years. So that means only 1 or 2 every few years. The conditions down here were remarkably horrible, and the fact that so little amount of people that died down here was crazy. So yeah. Any more questions? Nothing? Awesome. If you, by the way, at any time about anything, it doesn't just have to be as a section. Like if you're like, how did they use the washer? Like, well, we're gonna head down to 16 now. That's the barn area. So. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy down here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nicole couldn't see this.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
She will.
Oh, yeah.
Had she been down?
Now the reason that's cemented out is actually to keep the rats out. So yeah, this is the barn area. These are the stables that were here in the original location. However, you can tell they're quite grody. Who wants to guess how old these are? I mean, you can literally see fungi growing on them. I was mortified the other day. We want to tell. No guesses? No? Alright, I'm just going to tell you. That's only 20 years old. This is old design. You know what I'm saying? Look how gross it is. That is because where it's so dark and damp down here, even though we built it brand new, it just decays. And we didn't build it brand new to shame you guys. We built it brand new because the other ones were decayed as well. That tells us that over the years of operation that the mines were, in operation, they had to keep rebuilding the stables over and over and over and over again because they keep flying out. So, that's why they're pretty groggy. But yeah, this is where they would have kept the horses. They're already down here still. The reason that they had horses down here, who wants to guess? You would have to pull them to the main slope. Let me tell you, they use Clydesdale horses. Have you guys ever seen Clydesdale before? Big, aren't they? Sounds like a wedding. You know it's Tony over here, it's life size. But, yeah, they're extremely clever, extremely strong. The ore carts, empty, they were really heavy, but they actually held 1.8 ton of ore. Several thousand pounds of iron ore. And they would have to drag the ore carts from wherever they are to the main slope. Now, let me give you a look back. All these mines are connected. 2, 3, 4, and 6, the submarine ones, all connected from this side. This is west. You can go on 2 hours till you hit number 4. It goes 2, 3, 6, 4. That way east, you can go 30 to 35 minutes till you hit the end of number 2. So that's just number 2 mine, the one we're in. You would have to walk 30 to 35 minutes, lugging a approximately 2-ton ore cart to that main slope right there. So that's why they have horses too, because how many men are you going to need for that job? Exactly. Easier to have horses.
How long would it keep these horses down here?
Why?
No, how long would it keep
Oh,
them?
how long? That's my next point. So they live down here for monthlies. They're called monthlies because obviously when they take rotation. So if you had 12 down here per se, you had 12 matching ones on the surface. There was more than one stable, so let's just say for this, let's call it stable A. Stable A had a set of 24, split in half. You have half here and half up there. After that month, on that last Sunday of the month, you would switch them out. So you had set B living down here, they go up to the surface. Set A come down here and they're living under here, right? What can happen to the horse's eyes when they go from 4 months of complete darkness to direct sunlight? They don't go blind, are they? Yeah. So what the miners would do is wrap 5 or 6 blindfolds around their eyes, and then each day that they were on the surface, they would remove them slowly so that they would eventually adapt. And that would make the difference from permanent and temporary blindness or just prevent it altogether. Yeah. Any questions about the horses? Display case. Now, I know a lot of you, a few of you were waiting for a while, a few of you got to come on the tour right away, aren't you lucky? But when we go back upstairs, you can certainly take a look around the museum. There is a trophy, and it is for Tony, and it was given to him by the SPA, or now the SPCA, for 17 years of work underground. That's a lot of years for anyone, let alone a horse. Horses do not live to be very old. Tony started when he was 3 and retired when he was 20, so at that point he was already a senior citizen. And then a farmer bought him, got another 5 years of farm work out of him, and ain't that light stuff either. And then he finally kicked the tail at 25 years old, which is probably senile for Clydesdale at that time. So, yeah, Tony was a champ. He got a trophy out of it, which is pretty decent. And, yeah. Any questions about that?
Did any horses ever get killed down here? Oh.
There would be. You had to take an insane amount of time to get them out. The only day a miner ever had off was Sunday, and that's why they were on the island. They were in their own special stables. They were treated like royalty. And that's because they were high-class working horses. So you lose one, and that's a great toll on the mine itself, of the company. So yeah, you did, but you know, they kept a really careful eye on it.
Yeah, just like this one out of time.
Yeah.
Because we have a little extra kind of feature on our tour today where all the rain was on the go. This is approximately 650 feet down. The further we go down, the more accurate it gets. There's around 100 feet of ground above us. We're not underneath the ocean. We're not under any water. We're best kind down here. And we're actually underneath Martin Hurley's beer distributing warehouse. So that's what we're under. But this is basically the end. There is a little feature I'm going to show you guys. Usually I can get to those lights, so we'll see. You can head down. Stop in your tracks. There is a crap ton of water down here. Now, for those of you who have been on the tour, there is always water down here, and you know that. The reason for this is, if you guys haven't heard the water streaming down the whole tour, it's all groundwater. It's fresh water, it comes from the earth, it comes through the ore. That's how it got down here. None of it's salty. The only salty thing in mine is me. It's not ocean water in any way. There's nothing living down here. And this actually goes to, let me reference it for you guys. Imagine this was the final layer. That orange, it's called a gate, would be right here. So I would be the orange gate, and then there's a bit of rock and then water, but you guys were here. You know the rain we had. This is actually the first time I've ever seen it go beyond. But, let me tell you, it seeps out naturally. So the water has been at the same level for 20 years, and this is only a little exception because of the insane rain we've had. That will go back down to its original level, and that is because at cliff level it seeps out. So it's like the drain hole in your bathroom sink, if you want to reference it. That's how it seeps out. So yeah. The pumps were a very important thing down here when the mines were in operation. It basically just pumped all the water out because this water has been coming down here probably since the beginning of time. So when you're mining in any surface, in any submarine mine, you're going to have pumps to keep out the water that comes from the ground. Those haven't been running in 51 years. So by rights, this water should actually be way up out of this mine. But because it seeps out naturally and it's usually consistently at that level, it hasn't. So yeah, so this is what we get when you turn off pipes. And if we were to reopen the mine, of course, it would only just take a new set of pumps to get it out. But yeah, there's approximately 82 billion gallons of fresh drinkable water down here. Now, I'm freezing because I'm anemic. Imagine how much iron is in that water. One sip and I'd be cured, right? So yeah, do you guys have any questions about the water? At 17 feet, as you can see, because that is how big this place is. You can't really exceed the maximum limits. There's a giant wall keeping it out. But yeah, this water flows all the way through all the mines, and that's why there's so much of it. Billions of gallons. But yeah, we have divers that come down here. Ocean Quest, you're all from here, so you might have heard of them, right? Yeah, pretty good. Check out their website. They have a bunch of cool videos on this stuff and going down there. It's crystal clear. First of all, you can kind of see that it's, well, not this part, but you can see that it's really clear down there. And when you go underneath, they have 1,000 feet down by 1,000 feet on either side. The tracks are still there, the ore carts are still there, personal items are still there, everything, and it's crystal clear. So it's really, really cool. I would suggest you guys check it out. So yeah. Anything else you want to do? You all got your, you didn't want to get any more pictures, did you? No? Oh, so, let me get them. Oh, by the way, because I feel like you're not really getting how deep this mine goes, let me give you a little, this is 22, right? There's 272 of these. Now you get 2.5 miles, right? So it does go down really, really far. And number 3 actually goes down 4 or so miles. You guys know from here to Harbor Grace how long that is? That mine almost touches Harbor Grace. That's really far, yeah.
What's the furthest you've been down?
We can't get any farther than this. Like I said, I was probably born when this level was still at that level. So. Yeah, this opened up in 1997, I was born in 98, so. Cool for someone who was pretty good. My question. Keep following these there. Is actually for the pneumatic drills. So if you guys have ever worked with any drills or any power tools like that, you know not to breathe compressed air. So yeah, that's why I was there. There's nothing in it now. Obviously it has been in operation for 51 years, but that's what they use them. So we can head over this stair rail. Keep in mind when you come over, I'm just going to point my flashlight to this room or hole in the wall because you won't be able to see it when you sit down, a lot of you. So just keep in mind that that exists until I talk about it. So last stop. Basically, I'll just give you guys a look back, tell you what they did in the mine and then what they worked with, the tools that they used. So about 15 years or so ago, these three men came down. Vince Dalton, Bill Nary, and Bob Dave. They're all past now, but let me tell you, they lived until their late 80s, early 90s. Most miners, this is the case, and there's two reasons for that. Number one is that no matter how much they tarnish their lungs and liver with the hacking back darts and drink until they can't see, all the exercise down here has to keep their heart super healthy, that it's just functioning the rest of their body. My personal hypothesis is that they're preserved, pickled from all the booze and salt, because this is the I can vouch for that personally, because my grandfather, who lost his leg down here, will be 90 next month. He smokes 2 packs a day, had 3 strokes, he drinks all the time, and he puts salt in everything, and he's still vigorously kicking. So, miners are pretty long-living, but that's why, in my personal opinion. So, what the jobs of these 3 men were is drilling, face cleaning, and shoveling behind me. So, to explain that, Mr. Dalton was a driller. He and his partner, they would all have partners, would operate this 450-pound drill between 2 men, and they would drill 5 to 10, 15-foot holes into the ore and insert dynamite into them and then blast them out. So that was drilling / blasting. That's actually what my grandfather did. You all saw the hole in the wall, right, that was pointing at? 15 years ago, he came here and did this. So that was the most recent mining activity to be done on Bell Island. And all the ore that was blasted out of this, the reason we did it is you see how square and smooth it came out. The ore is very good for that, our ore. All the ore that came out of here is in the gift shop. So if you're wondering where that came from, it's right out of this. So that's what drillers / blasters would do. Face cleaning was the most dangerous job you could have. The majority of fatalities in this mine came from fall of ground, and they were usually upon face cleaners. So what they would do, and the reason for this is, they would stand on these tables, Mr. Nary, his partner, of course, would stand on these tables, hold 30-pound scaling bar over their head 10 hours a day, consecutively, except for one break, or smoke break. They're probably smoking while they're doing it, though. 6 days a week. And then they would pick or hack all the ore and all the loose rock down. So they were literally creating fall of ground, if you think about it. They were making the ore rock fall. And that's so it wouldn't fall on anyone else. So who's to say it fell on them, you know, yada yada. They got paid more because they were doing it, but they were risking their lives the same way. They would obviously do this because, you know, after a blast, all the ore is going to come down. Most times it's like that. With any sort of dynamite, there would be like an avalanche type fall after. But yeah, they would have to get all the rest of the ore out. Now, this is the smooth stuff. This comes out in chunks. The rock is not. So you can see how smooth the ceiling is. That's really impressive that they got it down to that texture, that consistency. So yeah, that's what they would do. This was the highest paying because it was so dangerous. And then Mr. Bobstein was a shoveler. Does anybody know what he would have done? Shovel.
Shovel the cart.
Yeah, exactly. So this was Kings's partner, would shovel, and they would do 20 of these ore carts a day. And these hold 20 tons, so that's 18 tons of ore a day for one man. You all know, well, I don't know. You all know tons are approximately several thousand pounds, right? So, yeah, they were pretty tough. One thing I want to explain to you guys is specifically commuting miners. So because this is Bell Island, this is a very large supplier of work for people from the island, which explains the whole moving away to Cambridge, Ontario in 1966 when it shut down. But it was also a global kind of employment center, so people from Holland, people from Japan, people from Carbonear, people from Harvard Grace would come here. So you have a lot of commuting miners. They would live here during the week, and on Saturday after they got off, whether it was the morning or the night shift, after they got off their shift, they would head home. Now, for example, just because I know how many kilometers it is from here to Carbonear, that's approximately 26 kilometers, right? That's far. You would have to walk, if it's winter, you would have to walk across ice pans, the Atlantic Ocean to get to that side, and then you have to walk from wherever you came ashore to your house. So that's several hours, right? By the time you get home, if you haven't passed out along the way at some point, it's already Sunday, you can imagine, or Saturday night. You have to leave again on Sunday night to come back here, so it's another several-hour commute. So a lot of the commuting miners were heavy alcoholics and very depressed because they only had a few hours of family time a week. And back then, of course, it was very, very important, more so than now. And you know what you do on Sunday, go to church and have some J's. So they're not really going to have much time for anything else. So that's basically why they're in such emotional struggle. But one thing that they could actually do to sort of assist this bit is they could do an extra 10 carts on Friday, so the day before they got off. And then that means that they did 30 in one day, and then they only have to do 10 on Saturday. So they get off like 5 hours early, and that's at least most of their commute, right? So that would help a little bit. Commuting miners would get off just that bit more, but you can imagine it was very, very hard working down here. Aside from all the, death and the struggle that you had to do with working and how dangerous it was and stuff, they also had family issues like that, struggled on top of them. So yeah, that's just about all the facts I have for you guys. Questions so far? Exactly, that's what the sports and stuff. You had the scalers and the drillers and yeah, no women whatsoever. They thought it was bad luck. Now, in my opinion, it's God's swallow. I'm extremely Irish, as you can tell, so I'm about as lucky as it gets. And there hasn't been a single incident, whether it was workplace hazard or anything like that, in the 20 years that women have been doing tours down here, or men. So, we need a little bit of female that helps brighten up their day and prevent falls ground and stuff like that. So yeah, any other questions? The pack that's bolted on, the light's bolted, and then the wire coming down goes into the battery pack. Yeah? Okay. Let's go to the lunch room. Smells like dill pickle in here. Seriously, it does. The wood is feeder. So yeah. This is the battery pack. It's heavy, it's cold, and it's damp. So it's just awesome for down the mines. I'm going to hand it around. So you can see that's what they would have. So yeah. You guys enjoyed the tour? Did you have a fun time? Did you learn a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love when people learn things. Just the future teacher. So yeah. After that's been handed around completely, I'll show you guys. There's a bunch of tools set along the wall there, and then we can head out. So yeah. But all the men would have tea and lassi sandwiches for their lunch. Bread and molasses. Miners were eating their lassi sandwiches. Of course, they didn't have anywhere to wash up, so they would hold on. Can you imagine eating like just peanut butter bread, and you have to hold on to the very corner of that piece of homemade bread and eat it because you didn't want to, you wanted to get the most out of it without it being full of iron and dirt, and then they chucked that little last bit to the rats. So they're pretty generous in that sense. Wicked. So. Here we go. So, big it on, head over this way. Now this part, specifically I find gets a lot of people because imagining how excruciating this would have been. I mean, I'm 20 years old and I already had that. That's literally back-breaking work. Like, not in any sort of figurative sense like that. It will literally break her back. And obviously that was very painful. This was one of the scaling bars that they would have had to carry on their head for 10 hours a day. picking at, literally pumping iron at this point, picking at the rock. And then this is not a drill, although it looks like one, it's a jackhammer. So if you guys look behind you, there is a specific piece of rock I always reference. That one right there. See that big old chunk of rock? That's ore, and you can't shovel that. So they would have to break it up and then shovel it away. So that's why they would have jackhammers and stuff like that. And then lastly, the jacklift here was eventually invented like halfway into the operation of the first mine. And what it did was also hook up to the compressed air and water, and it would lift the drill. So it went from 450 pounds between two men to about 150 between the two of them. So, you know, what a bunch of tools we got here. But yeah, if you guys wanted to take pictures of it, of course, I would do that. Put a pin in California. Definitely put your pins in there. I mean, you're all from Newfoundland, so good luck with that because it's packed. But if there's also a guest book right underneath it. If you wanted to say how you found out about us, how you found the tour, if there was an age, you know, if you're going to come back, like stuff like that. Just leave a little note. We'd love to hear it. We get consistent visitors, like I said, like 3 of you have been on this tour before, right? So love bringing new people down here and old people and, you know, all that. So whenever you guys are ready, if you wanted to head out, just remember, hats on the hat return. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on my tour today. It was great having you. You're very attentive listeners, and you asked decent questions. So it's all I need on you. Like I said, I'm the last one, so whenever you want, you can leave. If you have any further questions or anything like that, yell them at me. You know, I'll do it. If not, you know, take a breather because holy crap, that hill race. Yeah, I did not need the works. I did not need the gym over the summer. My calves are solid. Just